I'm going to start my morning show like I always do. And I'm going to pray for the first time. This is my third year being an activist for my people. I didn't even know I'd have the audacity to even replicate what huge African American influencers like Angela Davis, Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, and Jackie Robinson. Literally, the list goes on. Who else am I missing? So many African American leaders. James Baldwin, even, who I believe really was before his time because he was part of the LGBTQIA community. And African American, talk about a twofer. Even Oprah. Oprah has had tons of opportunities to understand this thing called racism. I'm here to talk about Black history. Since society wants to derail our only month that we have to remember what's been done. Let's talk about African American history. Let's remind the world what African Americans in this country had to go through and we are still going through, still till this day. If you're upset about any oppression, you need to add and include slavery, as well as systemic racism. The same systems in place are still alive today. How many people are a part of the Supreme Court, Congress, Senates, who were a part of the Jim Crow law that lasted over 100 years in apartheid? In apartheid here in this country was going over there in Gaza. You see, I don't talk about the PLM right now because I'm not going to derail the opportunity for the Jewish community to bring forth their awarenesses, because people who have integrity don't need to railroad other races and act like it's some type of oppression hierarchy race to be won. It's a sad, sad day when we are derailing racist RACES and all of the disparities that come with them to push forth an agenda that divides us. It's a sad, sad day. Thank you for those of you who are coming. But I'm afraid that because I don't know how to lie, that even right now, in the comments section, if you're new here, you're going to see racism. I didn't ask for that. I came here to talk about Black History Month. But once again, we have not progressed as much as we think. I'm African American, and I am dealing with racism here on TikTok. I'm dealing with racism in society, but I deal with it every single day with a strong face, with passion and nice gains from the gym. I'm here to talk about Black history. Here in this country, 4 million African Americans that were my family were used and abused and raped and killed and hung for profitable gain for the elites, and to have white supremacy reign supreme still to this day. It's still it's still prevalent. You know what I mean? I'm not angry. I am honored. I'm passionate. I am honored that today I get to have an opportunity to bring forth awareness towards our injustices. You know, the Jewish community is only 2% of the population. And I can't believe that still to this day, they're dealing with racism as well. Alt-rights on the rise. They also want to wipe out black people, just so you know. I was watching a YouTube video about an older woman from the Holocaust speak about what happened to them. And she was very upset with Whoopi. But I feel like she was upset because something that her young granddaughter had said. Because she made it seem like Whoopi was trying to be anti-Semitic. And that's not what she was trying to do. Whoopi Goldberg was trying to say something about humanity. She's trying to be eloquent. You know what I'm saying? She's been around for a while. She's also like in her 60s. So you're talking about a woman that actually was born during the Jim Crow law. I believe Whoopi Goldberg, I think she's 67 or something. Probably the same age as Ruby Bridges. Hold on. Hey Siri, how old is Whoopi Goldberg?
Whoopi Goldberg is 66 years old.
She's 66 years old. Whoopi Goldberg is 66 years old. The Jim Crow law ended less than 50 years ago. So she was born through the Jim Crow law. Her mother, Whoopi Goldberg's mother, I assure you, was definitely in the Jim Crow law. And then her mother's mother was more than likely, her mother was a slave and has dealt with racism in this country. And society has the audacity to cancel her because she says something about man's inhumanity what did she say? Man's inhumanity to manage man or something like that. Yet last night, I brought up all the things that freaking Ben Shapiro has said about black people. Why no outrage about that? Why no outrage about freaking Fox News? Why no outrage the fact that TikTok allows commentators to freaking be racist in the comment section? Black people are being over-censored here on TikTok. And it's unacceptable. Ben Shapiro, I'm going to talk about that today. But listen, right, since we got the racists here, which is good, I'm not only going to talk about Ben Shapiro and all the conservatives that are pushing right-wing propaganda. I'm going to talk about Ben Shapiro and what he said about black people and the Black Panther. Yeah, let's talk about all the people that need to freaking apologize to the black community. Since Whoopi can't make a whoopsie, how many other people are making whoopsies and need to be held accountable? Let's make this a normalized thing where people are not allowed to have racial biases on huge, media platforms. Are you kidding me? Why is it okay when it's done to other races, but it's not okay when it's done to us? It's just unacceptable. We need our apology from America. We haven't got reparations for what has happened to us. Every other race that we went through oppression, let's look it up. Because I can tell you right now, there's a lot. We haven't got a dang thing. Can we at least get a new Black Wall Street since you guys want us to work so much, even though we've been working since we got here for free? It's freaking amazing to me. We have not really come that long and far. We still have a long way to go. That's what I realize. We have a long way to go. Unacceptable behavior. I feel like I gotta be the mom of freaking society, man. If that's what I have to do, God, please give me the right words to say. The audacity. Society. It just hasn't gotten it right. Hasn't gotten it right. You know what? I'm going to screen record all this racism that I'm freaking seeing because I want the world to see what we still deal with on a day-to-day basis. So go ahead. Keep going on about your thoughts and your opinions about my people. I'm going to say this right now. If you're not African American, don't speak on my people unless you have 100% acknowledgement and information about our people historically and currently. We don't care about your freaking opinions. What we want is people to bring forth awareness to the injustices. If you're not doing that, if you're not an ally, if you're not an anti-racist, then what are you doing? Coddling white fragility? Protecting racism? Because there's some type of benefit that you feel like you get? Even though the only people that are really benefiting from racism is the 1%, which I'm sure you are not. If you're on TikTok at 8:41 a.m., I'm not an elite, nor have I claimed to be, and neither are you. So let's read some of the comments after I get my freaking cup of coffee. And anybody's welcome here on my show. If you disagree with me, I welcome you. I want you to come on here because I would never judge somebody based on their point of view, hence the view. I would never judge anybody for having lack of enlightenment, lack of acknowledgement. Whenever there is a crack in the crevice, there is an opportunity to grow grass intelligently. Instead of freaking trying to cancel people and trying to start a race war in this country, why doesn't America stop their freaking brakes and make it an opportunity to unite us, hence the United States here of America? But every opportunity that America has to push anybody's propaganda other than the black race, they attach it on to the black race because it gets attention. Kind of amazing to me. It's Black History Month. Where's your respect for what we've contributed? Not my ancestors, my family in this country, even me, contributing on a day-to-day basis pertaining to social injustice. So let's read your comments after I get my cup of coffee. I'm just really disgusted once again at what's being allowed. If ABC News had that type of energy about the black community, there wouldn't be a View. Go run and tell that. Freaking Elizabeth Hackleback. What's her name? Elizabeth Hackleback. So many people come out the pocket on the freaking View. So many people come out the pocket. And now they want to crucify freaking Whoopi Goldberg. So we're going to pull up some receipts to see what Elizabeth has said, what McCain's daughter or whatever has said. And let's talk about what her dad did while he was in the office. Everybody talking about Obama got to fix black people's issues. What about all the presidents that have been here since the freaking beginning? Oh, it's up to the black guy to fix America? And he only got one shot? And any other white president that freaking tried got shot? Run and tell that. Lord Jesus, I just realized I'm getting old. I'm getting too grown for this. I really am. God says, if I be for you, who could be against you? That's what I wanted to say. I said I wanted to pray because I'm a woman of God. And I feel like that's what's missing is the lack of godliness. Okay? It's the lack of forgiveness. You're supposed to love your enemy. You're supposed to turn the other cheek. That's why they don't want God in anything. They don't want God in schools. They don't want God in our Constitution. They don't want God anywhere. Because why practice what's righteous when the devil has a plan? It ain't a stronger plan than my God. I can tell you that right now. All right, so let's talk about it. Ben Shapiro. This is what I wanted to say last night. Let's see this. Ben Shapiro. You know what he said? Some people think that Ben Shapiro, and then I'll talk about Black history. Some people said that Ben Shapiro, I guess, is just spreading his opinions. Okay, but what I have found out is that he has a lot of opinions about the black community. Let's see what he said. And he called Whoopi idiot too, by the way. I don't know how he can go ahead and say that. Oh, you think Ben is a goat? Okay, well, let's see what the goat says about the black people here in this country. And let's talk about what Trump said about black people in this country. And let's talk about what you guys are saying about black people in the comment section. I had it open from last night, which was amazing to me. How many people came here to freaking derail our history. I mean, History Month. We have 1 month to celebrate us. And so many people got a problem with it. I swear to God, if you are African American here, I want you to stop other races talking on our behalf. Because if Whoopi Goldberg can't talk about the Holocaust, you cannot talk about slavery. I want that to be done. African Americans have the right to have the mic pertaining to our oppression. Everybody in America thinks that they can talk about slavery and Jim Crow law and things that we going through right now. Police brutality, mass incarceration. The missing father, Ben Shapiro said, or likes to talk about our communities. He needs to talk about his own community because clearly there are things not being said about the Jewish community that need to be said. Let me repeat that. The Jewish community needs Ben Shapiro to stop talking about black people and start talking about the Jewish community. The alt-rights are still on the rise, okay? They don't like black people and they don't like Jewish people. If anything, if anybody had empathy for the Holocaust, it would be African Americans. And I believe Whoopi Goldberg is Jewish. Judaism is a religion. It could also be a race, but that doesn't negate the fact that people in society and on the media have cherry-picked her words to push an agenda that's overdue, clearly. Let me tell you something. I'll be the first one to give somebody a mic on my platform that's Jewish and listen and accept the feedback of what's going on in America, at least I could say for that. I don't really want to talk about what's going on in the Gaza Strip, but we could talk about that too. But why would I derail their opportunity? I hope the Jewish community gets an open mic where they can bring forth awareness. Okay, very horrible things are happening here in America. But that doesn't negate the fact that 50 years ago, we were living in an apartheid here in this country as African Americans. And I'm not talking about me, but I'm talking about my mom, who's alive today in Hawaii.
Hello.
Hello.
Wait, I have a question. Did I understand correctly that you said that only black people can talk about slavery?
What I'm telling you right now is that if there is a zero tolerance for Whoopi Goldberg to say what she said about other races' oppression,
Who said?
I want to normalize any other race to not talk about slavery pertaining to African Americans. Absolutely.
Wait, who said? You said she said. I think I missed
I'm
something
sorry,
else.
what now?
You said that she said. Like, who are you talking about? I think I missed something
Yeah.
else.
Your answer is correct. I don't want any other race talking about African American oppression unless they have 100% acknowledgement of what has happened to us historically and have the ability to have empathy and to accept feedback. And I just don't see that. We should be able to talk about our own people without being interjected by other races.
Mm-hmm.
We should have a zero tolerance for any other race talking about our people and our oppression until racism is ended here in this country. And it has not ended, not even close.
Okay. Calm, okay? I was just, I thought that, first of all, you said that, like, no one can speak about slavery other than black people.
No, that's not.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is I want to unnormalize anybody talking, any other race talking about slavery without being completely informed, because I think that's what happened with Whoopi Goldberg. I believe people are upset in the Jewish community because she said her words wrong. Okay. And she even admitted that, I believe what she meant to say. I don't think she meant to say it wasn't about race. I think she meant to say it was about race and also about inhumanity. I think that's what she meant. But she's 66 years old. She's in her late 60s. She's almost 70 years old. She's a freaking senior.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of amazing to me. But no, if you are an ally, an anti-racist, absolutely. We need as many allies as humanly possible. We're only 30% of the population. We are minorities. But what I
Yeah,
am
I
seeing
mean,
here in society is racist talk on behalf of us, telling us to get over slavery. If you're not over the Holocaust, if you're not over the Trail of Tears, okay, if you're not over Chinese concentration camps, then why the heck do we need to get over slavery? Which was only, what, 157 years ago? And my great grandmother just died, and she was almost 100. It wasn't that long ago, is what I'm saying.
yeah, I mean, overall, me personally, I'm not American, yet I'm from Eastern Europe, and Eastern European people, like for example, me as an Estonian, our people were slaves for 800 years. We were slaves of Russians, Germans, Danes, Swedes,
I'm sorry.
and
What was
whatever.
your I'm recording this. I'm going to stop recording this so I can hear you.
Yeah,
Please
sure.
don't go anywhere. 1 second. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Chat. Okay, now I can hear you because I was recording the racist comments because I'm shared on my YouTube channel. But what did you
Yeah,
say your
sure.
race was, sir?
I'm white. If you mean my race, I'm not American.
Okay.
I'm from Eastern Europe, and overall, I want to say that like I don't understand like the whole race thing maybe that well as Americans do, because it's far away and we don't handle it the way that people in America do. So it's not that big of a deal here. But what I want to say is just like you know Eastern Europeans and like especially my country. I'm from Estonia. It's northeastern Europe, and for example, our people were slaves for about 800 years, and we were slaves of Russians, slaves of Swedes, Danes, Germans. Like we were living like really, really bad. We have been slaves like for almost 1,000 years, and yet we actually gained independence back after the collapse of the Soviet Union, and that was the time that we finally like got to live free and independently, and we didn't have
Good.
any occupiers, or like we were free people now. And like I've heard all those things
Right.
like
That's
well the
amazing.
yeah. And when the Black Lives
So
Matter
are
like
you saying
movement.
is your are you guys completely liberated? Is it over for sure? Dead?
Yeah, I mean we're
Slavery is no more.
yeah, no, there's no slavery. It's a modern European
Okay,
country, there's no
good.
slavery.
Good.
Yeah. But like overall like
So can I ask you a question? How would you feel if an African American person spoke on behalf of your people and your the oppression that you just talked about?
I mean depends
If they
if
weren't 100% informed or had empathy.
I mean, if he or she knew what he was talking about, if he just like talking something informative about our history, or our not like the history of our slavery or something, and if she knows or he knows what she's talking about, then I mean it's okay as long as they're being respectful and they know what they're talking about. But
Right.
if they just start to mock something, then of course that's gonna be a big problem and everyone's gonna be mad, and that's I think that's normal, the
Yeah,
reaction.
that's what's happening to African Americans in this country. It's just kind of amazing. And you could just, even though you said you don't deal with that type of racism where you live,
Yeah, like we
look in
don't
the
handle it
comment
this way.
section.
Yeah, it's different here. Like people don't I don't know, like the overall like race thing, I don't know. Like to us it's just if someone says, for example, I know it's a big deal in America if someone like calls like a black guy an n-word or something. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
terrible thing, but like here white people are just making fun of it and like calling each other with the n-words, and it's just like no one's really reacting about it because we don't have black people here. We don't know about the race problems because like we don't have it. We had our own, and we're just not taking it that seriously, and it's just interesting to me like how you guys
Yeah.
work to it.
We're still dealing with it systemically. Is our point. Like slavery has been over for over 157 years, but the system that has been put in place to keep African Americans inferior is still very much alive.
But how does that work there? Like what do you mean systematically?
So systemically, in regards to our education, systemically in regards to our our uh, our communities, our cities that we inhabit in high population, in regards to any type of reforms that we've been requesting, as far as police brutality. We're only 13% of the population. I believe I read in 2010. We were part of 40% of the mass incarceration. The reason why that's a problem is because due to the Black Code, which started right after the Emancipation Proclamation when we were set free, technically, but we weren't 2.5 years later. They created a thing called a Black Code, which incarcerated Black people in this country for petty crimes. And that still exists, still to this day. Right now, the problem is marijuana. Everywhere they're making marijuana legal, but people that are African American are going to jail for a drug that they're trying to basically make a profit off of on the government. I mean, you can literally go to any dispensary and do it now. I mean, marijuana really is like alcohol kind of in this country. Yet Black men are still being arrested for it at high rates.
I think you have like different laws in different states, like where is marijuana legal and where not. It works like that, I think. Yes. Like I've been to California because my relatives live there. And
they got a lot of super. You made first marijuana was illegal, it was a crime. After the government found out how much money, or finally figuring out how much money they can make off it, they legalized it, put a tax on it. Listen, I'll never buy from a dispensary. I would never buy from one. I buy it off the street before I buy it from a dispensary. Unless the dispensary is Black owned. If the dispensary is not Black owned, I'm not gonna buy it from it. And the people I was buying it from in Bridgeport is Black owned.
Yeah,
I don't know where they're buying the weed from. But if they support some white person and buying it from them, I'll stop messing with them too. You know?
Right.
I'm not gonna help them no more. And if I can find a Black grocery store, all Black grocery store, I'm gonna stop going to Stop and Shop and everything. I don't care how much it costs me.
You're definitely in Connecticut. I'm in Connecticut. I'm like, this sounds really
I'm not gonna help support them no more.
Right. How do you feel about this being Black History Month and society pretty much making Whoopi a vehicle for awarenesses towards other people's oppression? Listen, this isn't a oppression race, okay? But I really feel some type of way of what society is doing. Once again, using Black people for other people's awarenesses, whether that be political or racially driven. We're constantly being used in this country.
Okay, hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes,
damn, I'm just sitting here talking to my moms and I didn't even hear you talking. I apologize about that. I'm going to talk to my moms about some other different subject. But about that thing yesterday with the Whoopi thing, listen, I put a video out there yesterday. I'm going to correct you on something real quick.
Okay.
Listen, being Jewish is not a race, for one. The letter J became relevant 600 years ago. So it's impossible for Jewish to be a race. There's only one race of people, and that's the human race. You got white people, you got Black people. So basically what Whoopi said yesterday is not wrong. What upset me though is that she bowed down to these people and apologized. Nick Cannon, the same thing. You're millionaires. Go create your own thing. You don't gotta listen. She was there for 20-something years.
A month. Mm-hmm. And she's worth almost $70 million. It's a high.
Yeah, I know. That's what's crazy about it. She can start her own thing. Listen to me. I wouldn't apologize for nothing because she said nothing wrong for one. And that's what's wrong with us now. We're always apologizing. Stop apologizing to these people. They don't have zero respect for us. So why would you apologize? And then what killed me even more was the Black executive producer of ABC put a statement out that she's being suspended for 2 weeks so she can reflect. Now, who do you talk to like that? You have children?
Right. Put her on timeout.
Do you talk to your children like that when they mess up? Right?
Right. And
that's crazy.
More, listen, I would never derail the Jewish community's concerns. Okay. A lovely lady, Mariah, she came here and explained that they're only 2% of the population. And I feel like they aren't heard enough. So when they were mentioned, it kind of made them kind of wake up and look at the screen when they had a moment to get attention towards their issues. But they completely really cherry picked and took Whoopi Goldberg's words out of context. I see all these clips. All we see is that she said that it wasn't about race, but that the period didn't end there. It was a full sentence that she said. It was about man's inability to let me see. What did she say?
Be humane to other human beings or something like that.
Yeah, basically.
That's because it's the same race going against each other.
So it can't be a race thing. It can't be that.
Like Jewish
Yeah, but
people, it's an ethnicity, it's a religion, it's not a race
Yeah,
of people. She
yeah.
didn't say anything
Basically,
wrong.
what
And
Hitler
then
did.
what he said was is that he wanted to annihilate the Jewish race, but he was wrong. They are arguing his point, but his point was wrong. He thought that the Jewish people was a race, not realizing that they are an ethnicity, or they are a religion or whatever. So
Yeah,
people
exactly what you
are
just said,
arguing
right?
that
That's the way
Hitler
she
was
should
right and he's
explain.
not right. It's weird.
What you just said,
this
sweetheart.
is what I
You just
believe.
talking.
Whoopi
Yeah.
Goldberg was talking about the human race. There's only one. Scientifically,
Mm-hmm.
there's a human race, and what she was trying to say was that horrific event that happened for a long time to the 6 million Jewish people died. Okay, and I'm going to listen to what Jewish people said, because I would be very upset if people said that slavery wasn't about race; it was about class or money. I just want the same energy to the Black community as the Jewish community is getting. I mean, mere fact is they're 2% of the population, yet Whoopi Goldberg said one comment and the whole world is up in flames right now.
She shouldn't have
Yet African
apologized. She
Americans
said
have
what
been
she
fighting
said.
Yeah,
for
that's why I
our
look at it too.
voice to be heard.
She said what
And
she
look what
said, and
happened.
she didn't say anything wrong. Like, she didn't say
Nothing.
anything wrong. Nothing. She said it right. Like, it was an inhumanity against people. Like, that's what it was at the end of the day. That's what it
So
was
why
at
are
the
they
end of the
calling her
day.
anti-Semitic? That is a horrible label to
And when those
label
make it so
somebody.
bad,
That's
Whoopi
because they
Goldberg
know they have the
studies
power to.
Judaism. Whoopi Goldberg studies Judaism. You know that, right?
That's
Right.
I'm being told that she is
Yeah.
Jewish, but
She's Jewish. So how she could be anti-Semitic if she's Jewish? That's impossible.
Right.
So,
They don't want to. They
know what
don't
I
want to
mean?
accept that we can be them too. We can be Jewish as well.
at the
But
end of
make it
the
so
day,
bad, right?
there
We
were
the original ones, if you want to be technical.
okay, but let's not negate the fact what Jewish people are saying. Manka, the book that the book that Hitler wrote, it said that he wanted to ignite. He was trying to push forward an Aryan race. So it was about race. Because these people maybe weren't a part of the nationality or something. Maybe it's the. I mean, Black people, we see color. I think that's what Whoopi Goldberg. We just see white people.
Hey,
I mean, huh?
can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
There's two articles out there about Hitler. I don't know if y'all read them or not yet, right? I'm gonna repost them on my page again. And the reason why Hitler said he went after the Jews is because, listen, I don't know if y'all believe in this stuff and the Illuminati and all that stuff like that, but he said the reason why he did it, he said because he's been studying about Egypt and how when the Egyptians took the Hebrews into slavery and all the stuff that happened to them, he said he was trying to prevent the Jews that's in Israel now from doing that. That was his reasoning for that. And he said that another reason why the Jews are screaming as loud as they screaming and making much noise is so they trying to keep attention off to who the true Jews or Israelites are. And Hitler put it out there and said that they know this and they trying to keep all this is about power. That's all this is really about.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? And right now, everybody thinks the United States is in power. Listen, Israel is in power. Israel is in power.
So look at this person said 1985. Okay. I try not to give racists a moment, but this is what we are still dealing with. This is year 2022. I'm a Black creator, and so are these two fine people. And this is the stuff that we have to listen to and see. The constant social abuse that goes on in this country is just really mind-boggling. That African Americans aren't outraged even more this year.
It's because we don't
year.
stand up and do stuff. We don't stand up together and show the same type of solidarity that Jewish people do. When stuff like this happens, Jewish people be on it. They do not play about their situation. And we as people, they make it seem like we supposed to stop. They never stop. They have a memorial every single year. And we had stuff happen to us even worse. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Right, but let's see what this was. Somebody said 100% agree. Just like slavery wasn't about race, it was just that blacks were cheapest labor. That is the most racist comment I've seen this year, 2022. So thank you, 1985. Okay.
ABC. Hey, listen, what I was gonna say, right? Damn, I lost my thought.
It's okay.
It'll come back to me.
Amazing to me.
I just listen.
I'm gonna put on a couple more people. Can you guys please tell us tell us how you feel. What is going on?
As far as physically,
as far as
mentally.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody forgot about Black history.
Listen to me. Yesterday, when I saw that yesterday, it kind of was maybe physically ill. Listen, it's rare that I go live. Rare. I went live yesterday, and I didn't even express because I had too much emotion in my voice and all that. I didn't really express myself the way I wanted to. But that situation, I'm gonna say, listen. But the only thing about it, I look at it like this. I gotta keep on thinking positive. But this is what I wanted to say. If Black people took it and put the same amount of energy in hating on each other, if we just did that, that would make the things a whole lot more easier.
Yeah.
I believe.
And I think
you know what I'm saying?
Unnormalize other races speaking.
So they changed my. Hold on for a second. Hold on a second. CNN.
I'll prove you guys wrong. First of all, have you read Mein Kampf or Race Theory or White Power by George Rockwell? He will explain to you that Jews, the kikes, aren't whites. They are not Aryan. Like you guys should be back in Africa, not in America. I'm not hating. I'm just speaking facts, you fucking nigger monkeys. Go back to Africa. White power.
You hear that? You hear that? Yo. Wow. Hey, listen, man. That energy was crazy, wasn't it? That energy was crazy. Wow. Hello?
I'm just silent. I'm just really freaking amazed.
Wow. How come your screen is black? You blackened it out on purpose?
What'd you say?
You blackened your screen out on purpose?
Huh? What did you say?
I said, did you blacken your screen out on purpose?
No. Does it look
Your whole
black?
screen is black. Yeah, it's all black, just words going across it. That's it.
Well, I don't know why that's happening because.
Well, that's cool. I ain't got to see you to talk to you. I don't have to see you to talk to you.
That just happened.
Yeah, I know. That was crazy, right?
Did you guys just crazy? Did you guys just hear that?
Yeah, I heard that. That was crazy. Listen, that's why.
Listen, let them voice. Good morning. Let them say what they want so that people can see that we're not just talking stuff.
Hey, listen, that's why when he said what he said, that's why I laughed.
I'm having an out-of-body experience right now.
Hey, listen to me.
Something that is scientifically proven. This is a scientific fact that Caucasians have the highest amount of Neanderthal DNA. They are the only so-called quote-unquote humans who have rufous monkey DNA. They have 2% unknown DNA. They have Rh DNA, and scientifically, because of all of the animal DNA within their DNA, they're not considered humans. They have pig's DNA, dog's DNA, rufous monkey DNA, YT DNA, Rh DNA, and the highest amount of Neanderthal DNA. Scientifically, with all that, they're not considered human. About the Jewish matter, there is Deuteronomy 28. And Deuteronomy 28 speaks of the curses that are placed on the Jews, or the so-called Israelites. And they're not going to like this. The Torah, the Quran, and the Bible all state this. There are certain curses placed on the Israelites, right? Because Israel is not a place, it's a people. That's the first thing. The curses and details. You shall be taken on cargo ships back into Egypt. Egypt in scripture refers to slavery. You shall be enslaved for 400 years, right? 400 years. There's no other group of people who can claim that they've been enslaved for 400 years. We are the only people. It doesn't matter where we are. The other curse is that we shall be impoverished. The Jews are not impoverished. Only black people everywhere, even in our own lands, are we impoverished. It says that the woman shall be cursed with baldness. I don't see a bald Jew. Their hair are long, stringy, lice infected, and flowing. It says that we shall be the salt of the earth. You notice black culture, even in Jamaica, right? Jamaican culture travels to China, Japan, everywhere else in the world. Black American cultures travel all over the world, right? We are the salt. Without black culture, there will be no music, there will be no dance, there will be no fashion. That's a fact, right? So when they're going to talk about they're the Jews, this and this, I want to ask them, when were they enslaved for 400 years? When
Well,
another
I
person,
believe the Jews were enslaved because it's in the
they're,
Bible.
the Jews, the
I
Jews,
mean,
the
God said that the
Israelites
Jewish people
were
were the
enslaved.
chosen
The
ones.
Jewish
So I don't want
people,
to
yes,
deplete
the
that.
Israelites are the chosen people. That's why Jacob's name was changed from Jacob to Israel, because Israel is not a place, it's a people. That's a fact. Israel is not a place, it's a people. Salt is
Well,
not,
I don't
salt
want
is
to
not,
create.
is
I
not
hear what you're
cleaning.
saying,
Salt is
sis,
flavor.
I hear what you're saying, sis.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to have to stop that right now because I don't want to promote for anti-Semitic rhetoric. I would never do that. I hear what you're saying, but we can support our people without bashing another. I don't want to be a part of that. But what I want to say is I cannot believe what somebody just came here and said. What does society just reignite? Because I feel we just reignited another race war in society. That's freaking amazing to me. Instead of coming together and uniting, especially minorities, we can help the Jewish community. We should support them and the things that they're going through. But we need that same energy. Don't sit there and say things like Whoopi is anti-Semitic because she was talking about humanity. She was just misinformed. And that's an opportunity for people to inform her. And I don't think anybody should have the platform in regards to, the disparities and oppression that's been pushed upon the Jewish people. We need to give them the platform. We need to support them, like and follow and subscribe and listen. Is what I'm saying to what they're going through. But you don't have to derail us in our month. You don't have to derail us in our movements. You don't have to derail us and deplete what's been done here in this country and still going on today. That's all I'm saying. I mean, talk about divisiveness. America's the place to do it. They talk about United States of America. That's really hard to believe. It's more like divided States of America to me. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I
mean, my eye is just like watering, but I can't cry. It's like God won't allow me to cry. I can't believe that a racist person came here and said what he said, not only to me, but to my people in this chat room.
I can believe it.
And there's no outrage in the comment section. There's nobody saying, oh my God, I cannot believe that somebody had the audacity to say the most racist thing that I think I've ever heard in my life.
I kind of, because they always say go back to Africa. Like, what I'm saying is, I feel like if y'all want us to go back to Africa, give us what y'all owed us, give everybody passports, and allow them to either stay or go. You know what I'm saying? Give us that I heard somebody said they owe us $350,000 a piece, black people. So give us the money. Y'all telling us to go back. Give us the money y'all owe us. Give everybody passports and let them choose whether they want to stay or they want to go.
Right. And the people in the comments section telling us to get over slavery. The Holocaust has been over. And it's still important for us never to forget. Why do we got to forget about slavery, but never forget about 9/11?
No, they always tell us to forget about slavery, but then they go and say, well, we were enslaved, like the guy earlier. We were enslaved in Egypt for 800 years. Like, okay, but we're talking about us now. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, I feel like
need to unite.
I'm not trying to be mean or nothing, but I don't feel like we should
just
feel
don't say
sorry.
anything that can be insinuated as
I'm not gonna say nothing crazy. I just feel like
I'm trying to share this. They would not let me share my freaking video last night.
No, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna say no hate stuff, but I feel like every time something happened to another race or something, then we always feel sorry and bad. But Jews don't be stepping up for us when it's go time. You see, they just suspended Whoopi for 2 weeks over some comments.
I really want to know what this chick has to say because she's been saying some pretty inappropriate things in the comment section. I hear you, brother.
Because I remember.
Appropriate. I'm just trying to get my point across, love. Listen, I'm saying that we need to leave.
Don't
live in a world that is.
I've seen what you said in the comment section, and you literally have said some racist things to me. So please don't call me love.
Where have I said racist things?
Oh, dude, let's scroll up. I mean, it's all saved.
Yes,
I mean, what do you
let her say? Let her say.
Am I going to talk or are you guys going to talk? You brought me on.
No, I was trying to give you the floor. Like, go ahead. Let's hear what you guys
let's give her the rope.
Okay, we good? Now listen, I'm a Jew. I'm from the Holocaust too. We have to educate each other in everything. Yes, there was slavery on that side too. There's slavery on your side. There's slavery with the Vikings. There's slavery in every
what
culture.
about isms? Whataboutisms. Could you imagine if
Hold
somebody
up,
said, well,
hold
there
up,
was slavery?
Andrea. Let her finish. Let her finish.
No, but
Let
you're
her
using
finish.
whataboutisms.
But do you see that
real
this
played
is
out.
so?
I know.
The
That's
thing
what I'm
is
saying.
what
Let
I'm
her hang
trying to.
herself. Let her do it. Go ahead. Keep on going.
I'm just trying to have a discussion with you. I am with that everybody needs to live in peace and be together and be supportive, okay? But the thing is, like with the talk show host, she wasn't well educated about the Holocaust. That's why she made such a horrible comment about it, because it wasn't the
What was
proper
horrible
education.
about it?
What are you are you serious?
What was
right
horrible about it?
now? Are you are you
All
serious
she
right
said
now?
was they wasn't a race. She
Explain.
didn't say
What
nothing
did she
bad about the
say
Holocaust.
that was so horrible?
The Holocaust itself was horrible. If I would not be here today if it wasn't for
She
them
didn't.
living
Of
She
course,
never
it was
said.
horrible.
She never
Are you
said it wasn't.
saying that
if you
Whoopi
weren't
Goldberg?
German, if you were not German, if you were not the perfect German person, which includes gays, blacks, if Asians,
Blacks too.
if you were not okay, you too, everybody else too,
Exactly.
everybody else too. So we had to come and stop Hitler because he was gonna go off. If you were not blonde with blue eyes, which I'm not, you wouldn't be the perfect person, okay? So my people were murdered for fun. We were put in ovens and watched bake, okay?
Yeah, and
That's
so was
what,
our people.
No, actually, it was for work, but it was still bad. And then I'm sorry, the
No,
first
we was
owner,
eating. We
the
was
first
eating
owner
about
was
they
black. You guys know that, right? The first owner
women.
was
Our
black. It
woman.
was black.
Our
and
woman
black
gave
people
birth.
Oh, wait,
trading.
hold on. There's
That's
the rope.
history.
She just said the first
It's
black
history.
person. No, history.
What she
It
said?
happens in
The first
Africa
what?
now. You know that, right? They still have slavery in Africa with the same color. You know that, right? That still happens now.
Oh, so you're telling me
So it's all right.
that there is slavery in Africa, therefore it was okay to have slavery here in this country?
Where did I ever say that?
That's
Why
what you just said.
So
I
what
said
was
it's
the point?
no,
What was
it's
your
happening
point?
now.
What was your
I'm
point with
saying it's
saying
happening right
What
now,
was
and
your point?
nothing's being done about it. It's not being
What?
done. Nothing's being done. You're not outraged about that. You're only outraged that white people did it. That is the only thing that you're mad about.
So
That
we
white
not
You're
mad.
racist.
We not mad. We not
Point
mad
blank
that
period, and you
we
need to
not.
go. And I just realized that
you
Jewish
don't
people
want to
can
hear
be racist,
anything
no
I
thanks
gotta
to you.
say. It's
You need
so
to go.
rude.
You need to go.
You brought me on. Have a good one.
Yeah, exactly. Don't call me hun. Okay, don't
You
talk
have
about
a
my
good day,
people.
beautiful.
Do me a favor.
You are
Don't
wonderful.
talk about
I
my
hope that
people
we all will
ever.
be colorblind.
Don't talk
and that
about
we
my
all
people.
come in peace.
Don't talk about
Don't
my
be
people.
one-sided.
You
Don't
don't
be
get a right to
one-sided.
talk
Don't
about
be
my people.
entitled to it.
Don't
everybody
talk
has
about
a
my
bad
people.
history. Everybody has a bad history. Everybody does.
Yes,
But
Don't
yeah,
let
but
it
everybody,
the
only
Jewish
everybody,
people.
but
And
It's
look,
show me
the
not
one
Jewish
only
people.
you.
but don't
Look, the
derail
Everybody
Jewish
has a
people
bad
got
history.
taken care.
Every
Yeah,
race has been through slavery.
everybody have a bad history, but
Every
we
race
never.
has been through
All
slavery.
right, say that. All
Let me
right,
just
can
say
I
this
finish?
right now. Let me just say
Everybody.
this right now. This is what goes on. When people are talking about black people, they say everybody has got a bad history. When people talk about black slavery, everybody has gone through slavery. And then they have the nerve to say that black people enslaved black people. That is not what freaking happened.
And we
If you are not informed about what happened to my people, don't talk about my people. If any black person,
talking about
187
slavery in
people here,
America.
if there's any black people here in my comment, in my video, as long as TikTok will have me, stop allowing these people to talk on our behalf. No more. They had ABC had zero tolerance for Whoopi Goldberg saying what she said about the Jewish people. End it. Don't let them talk about us anymore. They should be just as bad as saying the N-word. Let them be silenced.
And they talking about slavery. We talking about slavery in America. We never. Everybody that got harmed, every group that got harmed in America, they actually got paid out. Y'all, they told us we was gonna get 40 acres and a mule, but we never received that. And now that is so many years later, they be like, get over it. None of our people from here, none of our people did slavery, but you benefited off of it.
You know what this means? Let's remind them that this means solidarity within the black community. This means we're survivors. This means that we have zero tolerance for racist banter, racist rhetoric. We won't tolerate it. The Jewish people won't tolerate it. Neither will we. I don't care what race you are. Don't talk about my people.
The thing is too, in the Jewish, they like, you see how I told you they run Hollywood, so they the ones that suspended her, put her on that time out because they run all that. Like, oh, you mean to tell me you're gonna suspend somebody when y'all letting them free talk for so many hours and expect somebody not to say something? As soon as you say one thing wrong about, Jewish people, it's all hell's bar. Like I feel like since they control Hollywood, they definitely.
I might have to bring out my throat today. I might have to bring out my freaking throat today.
They definitely
it's Black
control
History Month. Don't derail our freaking month.
They tried to separate us because when we was younger, when we used to see them commercials with the African people with big bellies and flies and stuff, they was in control of Hollywood when they was putting that message out. When all those movies with us shooting up each other and drinking 40s and killing Chinese people, that's them. They had the power to push all that stuff out. And now that you say one thing about them, it's like, oh, you got 2 weeks or you could get fired. Do the same thing when they can. They got to come and she going to have to say sorry about 20 more times before they let her back on the show. You know what I'm saying? Hey, so it's like, go ahead. I'll let you talk, man.
Hey, check this out. The ironic part about it is they had another black woman suspender too.
Mm-hmm.
They had another black woman suspender.
Of course, they trying to make an example out of us.
That's a fact.
I
want to speak to what he was talking about earlier.
Did you guys see all the racism and I saw the racism in your life this morning.
Facts. It was all throughout the comment section. Look, you just got they literally cut. They was kicking my guest off. They tried to ban my live like 10 times. They would make my guest go away, and then they would say, okay, you can bring guests back on. They was kicking them off for like 5-10 minutes at a time. What's crazy though is that y'all was talking about reparations. How about the slave owners got reparations because they got their quote unquote property taken away? If you look up the Reparations Act of 1886, I believe it was, they actually paid the slave owners reparations for taking their slaves away. That's crazy. That's crazy. But they can't give us nothing, though. That's crazy.
No, what I'm trying, I agree with you say. I didn't mean to say no. What I want to say is I want an opportunity right now. If there's any African American person here, I promise you, as long as I'm allowed to have a voice, I'm going to fight for us. I'm going to make sure that we are reminded of our greatness and our ability to overcome. We shall overcome. And we continue to push forward. More and more, we are moving forward. And they don't want us to succeed. We have to remember that we don't need nobody but each other and God. We need to put our fists together up high. And we remind people that we should have zero tolerance for this behavior. Just like ABC News has zero tolerance for you to talk. You don't get to talk about my people anymore. Enough is enough. Don't talk about my people anymore.
Groovy Cakes, what are you talking about? Abraham Lincoln didn't do anything. Abraham Lincoln didn't even like black people. He said that if he could save the Union without freeing the blacks, then he would. He said that. Go look that quote up. Abraham Lincoln didn't love us.
Get them out of here, please.
Hey, make me a moderator. Make me a moderator.
Get them out of here.
Make me a moderator. Hey, take me off the video. Make me a moderator. I'll get all these motherfuckers up out of here. Peace. Go to the little button where it says manage.
I just did it. ACAP Truth. Oh wait, no. I mean ACAP Truth 1. I'm sorry. I hope he's not a troll. I think it was ACAP Truth. Hello, Sacred. Are you there?
Hi there. I just didn't want to interrupt you. How's it going?
Yes, go ahead.
I had something to say earlier on, but I can't really remember what I was going to say. But see, when the kind of racist troll guy came in, I would like to say he doesn't speak for all of us. Unfortunately, no matter where you go, you're going to get someone that's going to troll you really hard. And specifically because it's this particular type of thingy, they're going to try and hit you hard where it hurts and use the subject matter that you're using. So just try. I know it's obviously a difficult time for you at the moment and that as well. Just try and not let them get your heart so much. There's only a small percentage of people that actually act that way. And I know because you see it a lot, it might seem like everybody acts that way, but we're not all like that. And I promise you.
Thank you.
Hey, Queen.
Have a nice day there.
Thank you.
Hey, Queen. I want to say a couple of things, and I want to be very straightforward. Number one, people, the Atlantic slave trade happened throughout 345 years. 100 years prior to the arrival of slaves to the coast of the United States, they were arriving on my countries. They were arriving on Mexico, Central America, South America. 12 million slaves were mobilized in the span of 345 years. Black History Month is not just a month in the United States. It's a month in this whole continent. The British only took about 6% of the slaves to the United States, or what would eventually become to the United States. 94% came to my lands. Right now, the Afro population in Latin America is 130 million people. That's 3 times the population of the United States.
Yeah, but Raven, they were breeding us here in the United States of America. So although I hear you, and you're very, very well coerced on the topic, which I'm happy you're here. But when they brought African Americans here, they were breeding us. And by doing that, there were over 4 million African Americans that were enslaved in this country. 4 million.
Mm-hmm.
So although there wasn't that many when we got here, what does that say about them breeding us at such high levels?
What I want to educate on that sense is that we cannot treat things in a vacuum. We have to always keep our vision open, in the sense that we know how huge this whole thing was.
Yay, it's me.
And let's take into consideration historical facts. United States, alongside Cuba, were the last 2 countries to abolish slavery here in the Western Hemisphere. Historically, United States had to go to a civil war. And prior to that civil war, a white man by the name of William Walker came to Mexico, came to Central America to try to conquer us. I want you to think that 7 years prior to your civil war, we had to fight for salvaging our independence. And because your southern states wanted to enslave us.
Hello.
I hear you, Raven.
So
I just don't want to get too deep into what's happening in other countries. I want to talk about Black History Month. That's what I want to talk about. And I want to talk about what's going on with society reinforcing racism, once again dividing our country. You know, we're 30% of the population. And it's just kind of amazing to me that people still to this day think that they could derail our oppression in this country, but push forward other people's. You don't have to derail us to make a point.
That's true. I think it undermines all the struggles that you guys have gone through as a race. I mean, personally, politically, we probably don't agree on much, but I can agree with that. I mean, in my personal opinion, downgrading someone else should never be the cost of upgrading someone. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should never use somebody else's struggles to make a point.
Right. Yeah. What don't you think we have an agreement with political? Why did you say that?
I mean,
because I'm an American. I'm a proud patriot American. My father was in the army. I'm a military brat. Why do you think I have Hawaii? I was born in Alaska, raised in Hawaii, and now I live in Connecticut. Okay, so
those are the 2 states I have never been to, and I would love to go. Alaska and Hawaii.
You gotta go. So I'm a proud patriot here in this country, but I just think my patriotism is very different from some people, especially down the South. What don't we align with?
I mean, personally, I think Joe Biden is a bad candidate. We've talked about that before, but that's my political stance. You know,
Can you just say why, so that maybe you can enlighten me? And that's what they should have did to Whoopi. When you don't agree, that's an opportunity to inform. So can you please inform me what I'm missing?
So for me, with the whole Whoopi thing, in my personal opinion, she has freedom of speech. She should be able to say what she believes and what she thinks. It's an opinion-based show. It's not saying that, you know, that the Holocaust wasn't racist. That's not what she was saying. In her opinion, it wasn't about race, which really, if you look at it, it was more about religion than anything, because it was against the Jews. It wasn't against a race, because if it was against a race, then the Aryan race would have been included in that because they're white. So
I think that's what Whoopi is trying to say. But for me, I believe that she was talking about, I don't disagree with you, but I think she was just talking about the human race.
Right.
Anyway.
Right, and that's my thing is I don't think that anybody should be canceled for their opinion.
Right.
On
And
either
that
side,
you
because
must be a
that's stupid.
conservative.
Actually, I'm a moderate, so I'm in the middle. I'm independent. I
Okay.
voted for Obama. I did vote for
I want
Trump.
to say thank you for that, because he was the first Black president, and that never ever existed until America brought that forward. So thank you for that. But why don't you
Yeah,
like
because
Joe?
I wanted to
You know
see.
I love Joe.
wanted to see when I voted for Obama. I wanted to see the change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought.
But why does it have to be up to Obama to fix it, though?
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. It shouldn't be about race. It shouldn't be about. And I think that's where we have a lot of issues as a country. Is everything is categorized by race. So
yeah,
you know, like, oh, the Black man can fix it, or oh, the Black woman can fix it. Like, why didn't the white man fix it? Why does it have to be? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why can't we be known as the human race? If Whoopi did anything, she was talking about inhumanity, just being a human being. I mean, let's talk about Pangea. When we were all in the same we were all in the same continent. You want to talk about nationality? Let's talk about Pangea. I mean, really, we're all the same. We've just been separated over time due to what is it called, migration, and our plates moving apart and things of that nature. But I hear you. But why don't you like Joe?
So for me, a lot of the things that he undid, I feel were like things that he didn't agree with just because Trump did it, not necessarily because it was a bad thing for the country. Because like going back on the lowering of insulin prices, my mother-in-law is a diabetic. Like, why would you do that? You know, like, why would you make it more expensive or more difficult just because Trump did something? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't agree with that.
Wasn't he a part of the Affordable Health Care Act?
No, it was something that Trump signed into law to cap the insulin prices. It was completely separate. I think he did include it in his Affordable Health Care Act. But like, why undo it to redo it so that you can say that you did it? That makes no sense. And have people suffer in the meantime just because your name's not on it, is the way I felt like it went. And I
don't think that's not a valid reason. I mean, that's valid. But if people that supported Trump instead of Biden focus more on his policies instead of pushing a right-wing rhetoric that happened,
not worshiping him.
Honestly, I believe this, that if MAGA hats never attached their agenda with the BLM, then I think Trump would have never have been portrayed as a person pushing racist ideas, and Black people probably might have voted more for Trump than Biden. Biden only won because there was such prevalent racism that was going on, being pushed from the right to the left and left to the right.
And that's
so
else.
true.
That's something else I don't agree with, because I feel like a lot of people that voted for Biden just voted because it wasn't Trump. They didn't actually
and honestly, I'm an African American. I voted for Joe Biden because as I learned more about him, I do see the goodness that he's done over his Senate time. I do see like the women. We're not going to get too big into it because we're going to just derail our whole topic tonight. But he has done some good things, but he gets no credit. And I don't like a bully, and I don't like people making up that he's a pedophile. That's with his grandson. That was really disgusting. And then talking crap about his son that just died. His son died. He lost his whole family.
That was inappropriate. I feel like politics in general goes way too dirty.
They make things up, and that's so inappropriate. Stick to the facts. Stick to the policies.
I'm so over those commercials.
What?
I'm so over those commercials that are like, this person did this person did that. Like, just tell me what you're gonna do. I don't want to hear about how another person did this 20 years ago.
Right. I think America is over racial biases. We're over racism. We're over everything having to do with race. I think we want to be known as a human race here in this country. I don't think anybody, because the racist people are really dying. That's a really old ideology that you are superior because of your lack of melanin and the region that you migrated to. That is really getting old.
And I think that for me it was hard for me to remove myself from how he was being portrayed in the media, Joe Biden. Not necessarily the stuff going against him from Trump, because that had nothing to do with it. But more of like him going and supporting people breaking into stores and, you know, like all the stuff that was going on, to me, it's not necessarily that he supported it, but he turned a blind eye to it. You know what I mean? Like he didn't talk about it.
The looting that was going
Yeah.
on during the BLM?
Yeah, the looting and the burning of cities and all the crazy shit that was going on.
Well, that was, I'm not trying to minimize what happened. I saw what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse. But
yeah,
what I get that was unacceptable. And I was watching the Kyle Rittenhouse court case. I just cannot believe that people were acting like nutsos. But
a lot of the time,
it wasn't all of the movements.
Yeah, it wasn't the people in the movement. It was people just taking advantage of the movement itself.
Yeah, that's been happening though. That to come with protest, which is why I don't want to do it. I don't want my people to be part of it anymore. It's not really effective.
Yeah, they're like, okay, I can go out and make this group of people look bad because while they're riding, everyone's attention is on them. So I'll go and loot this. Like, I'm not saying that there might not have been some guilty people, but I'm just saying that, like, I think the people automatically put those crimes towards the protesters. And a lot of the protesters are just there peacefully and they just want to be heard. And I think so.
You know
it kind
what?
of
Maybe
pulls
the
away
MAGA
from
hats
the
were victim to that. Maybe people that were for Trump were there to push policies that they believed in, like our sister said, when it comes to insulin. But you can't negate the fact that racists hopped on the bandwagon of Make America Great Again and totally took advantage of that opportunity to make America inclusive for once and for all. This is the same thing that happened with Whoopi. It just seems that there's constantly throughout history people attaching on races and groups attaching their agenda with Black movements. Or things that Black people say and do. We're constantly
because I feel like it muddies the water. It muddies the water. It waters down what you guys are really trying to say.
Thank you, sis, for saying that. Yep.
Well, I was gonna say before when we were talking about when you were talking before, I was saying I think one of our biggest problems is we can't listen to each other. Like when a person talks, like we just need to listen. And I think that's our biggest issue is like we just can't hear each other out.
Yeah.
Because we're always like never listening. So it's just like, I mean, I do like on my stuff, I do a lot of like, you know, I have like videos about like if you do this, you're racist or whatever, you know, and stuff like that. But it's like if I was in a room and there was me and people of color and someone said something racist, it's not my place to stick up and say something because there's a ton of people in the people of color in the room and they can handle it. So I don't need to step in front and be
right. So you're not for the white savior. I am. I love a white savior. Let me tell you, ain't nothing more beautiful than a white savior to me. Okay, because that just happened to me. I was at a bar on my birthday, and some veteran who was drunk called the bartender an N-word because he wouldn't serve him because he was drunk, immensely drunk, and the whole bar stopped and grasped because I was the only Black person in the bar. I live in Connecticut. I was the only Black person there. Everybody looked at me, and there was a bartender, a white lady, who went off. You ever see a white woman from the East Coast go off? It is something to see.
My mom going off is pretty scary. My mom going off.
And I just said, oh, I'm not that offended. He's literally senile. He's a veteran. He's lost his legs. He's in a wheelchair. And that was right when a guy in a wheelchair got shot by a cop. So I was I like older people and I have a sympathy for disability, especially veterans. So I didn't take it personally. But this white lady made a point to be outraged, and she said it very loud that was unacceptable. So what message did that bring to every other white person there that might have thought saying the N-word in public was acceptable? She had zero tolerance for it. And all I'm saying is Black people and everyone needs to have zero tolerance for racial bias, just point blank, period.
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely do. Like if no one else was to say anything, like I would say something. And like if I'm in a situation and it's just all white people and they say something racist, I'm calling them out on it. I'm not just letting it slide just because there's no other Black person in the room and they can't hear us and so whatever, we can say what we want. And like I'm not for that. like the sound that was going around on TikTok where all the white people were using it, and they were like the blacks, and they were like, no, gotta go right now. Do you remember that trend that was going around for a little bit?
There were so many last year. I can't keep up.
Yeah.
But I'm
Well,
not surprised.
either way, I said like, no, we don't gotta go. Like, this is our chance to stick up and be like, listen, you're wrong. Like, this is what is truly going on, and this is what's truly not going on. So I don't know. I feel like there's always a time and a place for you to step up and be there. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. Appreciate you.
Hello.
You know, when I'm looking at the people trying to request, I try to give all races. So I try to do black people, and if you see the switch up, it's because I believe everybody should be heard. But again, I'm here now. I want to talk about Black history, okay? Because we could talk about other things, but it's Black History Month. Let's talk about what the practices were 157 years ago pertain to our people, because everybody seems to have empathy for what happened in the Holocaust. Everybody seems to have empathy what happened to the Trail of Tears and the Native Americans. Okay, everybody seems to have empathy for every other race. But when it comes to us, that chick that was Jewish came here and did it. She said, she was like, "What about this? What about that?" And you guys enslaved each other. The next person that isn't black that says that, I swear to God, I'm going to freaking lose it. And Africans did not enslave each other. There are over 55 freaking countries, 54 to 55 countries in Africa that we know about. And not when I talk about Ghana, Mozambique, South Africa, Angola, these are countries. Africa is the second largest continent in the world. Why do people think that you know how many tribes are in Ghana? You know how many different languages? Not all Africans are from the same tribe.
But you know, Andrea,
or from the same country.
You know, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. You know what I have a problem with? A lot of people say, "Oh, black people enslaved black people during slavery." What we did was when we purchased another black person, we were purchasing our family members, and we were purchasing them into freedom. So when you see slave records and you see black people owning black people,
are you sure about that? Because
because my family, I did my genealogy research. They had to purchase their own family to get them out of slavery, to get them to be free. They had to purchase them. So
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, because I've been manipulated by freaking people here on TikTok to make me believe that my people enslaved each other. And that right there sounds more factual. Thank you for that.
It was in order for us to be free, like one person in the family would be free. And then what happened was the husband would go back and buy his wife's freedom or his son's freedom, or the couple would go back and buy their sister's freedom.
These are happy tears, just so you know. I'm a South.
Okay. So when they throw that up in our face, they, you know, it's part of gaslighting. When they throw that up in our face and they say, "Oh yeah, well, you know, black people owned slaves during slavery." Yeah, we owned our relatives. We bought our relatives. We bought our children. We bought our children back. We bought the kids that you sent away and ripped from our arms once they were born. We went and found them and bought them back. You know, and I think that I hate the gaslighting where they say, just get over it. You're playing a victim. You're doing this. You're doing that. The atrocities of slavery was over 250 years. And then there was Jim Crow. There was segregation. There was redlining.
I need some moderators, please. I'm sorry, sis. I don't want to derail your message. I need moderators, please, to help me.
You can make me a moderator.
Relevant 1969. Okay, thank you. Please get them out of here because
wait, can you hear me?
No, that's not me.
All right, Relevant.
No, that's not me that wants to be a moderator.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
that's me.
Armin.
Armani.
Armani. I'm sorry. Oh, you okay? Thank you. I'm gonna make you moderator now. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I was saying, you know, they always want to downplay it, but what they don't realize. Okay, so World War I and World War II. First of all, we were segregated in the military up until 1947.
And not given credit for the amazing things that you did as infantry in the military.
Exactly.
They just sweep that under the rug.
Yes, because my great-great-grandfather was a Buffalo Soldier, and
Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of what that word was.
yes.
And my dad was in the Army.
Exactly.
My dad joined the Army when he was like 18 years old. I'm pretty sure he was like 18. He was young.
Exactly. But they act like, and then did you know this? World War I, and during World War I and World War II, there was over 1 million African American men that were denied the GI Bill.
Yes. Wow. That's one of the biggest problems with generational wealth is that after World War II, when all the men came back, white people were given this GI Bill. They were given, I think it's called like Levittown kind of places, and they were off limits. And this is one of the biggest reasons why, people want to blame Black people for the situations, but yet they simply forget what they've come from. Now, I grew up poor, but not poor by any other country's standards, but poor by America. And my parents made it out. But nobody seems to remember the fact that it was much easier for white people to get loans to start businesses. And yes, I'm Jewish. And yes, we had our own form of, it wasn't called redlining. They called it the gentleman's agreement to not sell your property to Jewish people. And, I'm from Massachusetts, and it's really this amazing thing. And I think you said you're from Connecticut.
Yeah.
The Jews and Blacks in Massachusetts, and I think Connecticut, we kind of follow each other, around, because Jewish people would be able to carve out a piece of a place. I can give you examples of Massachusetts. Okay, so you go from Boston to Milton, and then to Sharon, and now they all live in down in parts of West Palm, and you can watch this progression. And then I moved to New York and found out that Jews and Blacks are pitted against each other, and it was something that was so foreign to me to find this animosity where I had grown up. We were put together, so we had something else called Metco. So Metco was, in theory, where you take people from less advantaged areas and send them to more advantaged areas for school. In reality, it was busing Black kids into white neighborhoods. Okay, so I'm this kid. I'm the only Jewish kid in the school. I went only there for like 2 years because of the anti-Semitism. We got out of there. But they brought Medco in, and they beat the shit out of these kids, right? And this was the first thing I see, okay? It's the first time I ever see something like this, and I'm like completely floored. And then, so I'm having my own problems, and I go to my guidance counselor, and I'm like, I'm having these problems. And she basically tells me it's my fault because I want attention because I didn't need to tell people I was Jewish, right? So then I go and I literally was not a very good student. And I truly believe I got into college on my essay, being able to correlate that I could feel empathy as a Jewish person with Black people. And I can't stand it. I can't stand this whole Whoopi Goldberg thing. And listen, I think that what she did was, I'll call willful ignorance. I do not find it to be anti-Semitic. I listened to it. I don't know if she's anti-Semitic. I think her statement was dumbass. I don't like that she was suspended. I don't like cancel culture. I think it could have been used much better as educational moments. I think there's a huge history of Black people and Jews, and this is not about the oppression of books. And last night I was watching some people write some pretty mean shit in your comments, like the Jews only dealt with it for a couple of years. Black people have been dealing with it for much longer. Okay, I'm not going to play oppression Olympics. Both groups have been treated like absolute garbage and need to stick together. And as far as you're talking about the racism thing, God help the human who acts racist. I don't care if you are white or Black. I will look, no, I get two standards. If you are white and use the N-word, you are cut off. You're done. We do not have a relationship. If you are Black and choose to use the N-word, I will ask you nicely, because it's not me to be tone policing anybody, but I will ask you nicely. You're just not
Do you
doing
have to
fun
have
of
that
me.
on? What are you doing? Boiling water? Can you turn that off, please, and open up the crack the window? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, my daughter just walked in the room. Sorry.
I
Yeah.
believe that you're the voice of reason, and I accept everything that you said. We have to be able to ascertain feedback. We have to be able to take this opportunity, like you said, to educate. You are a Jewish person. Why would I deplete your experience in this world, as well as what your ancestors or family has dealt with and still are dealing with still to this day? I think African Americans in the Jewish community need to unite. We can help the Jewish community. They're only 2% of the population here in America, and right now we have alt-rights on the rise that want to be a part of what Aryan white supremacy movements are trying to do. What are they trying to do here in America?
It's
Marching with
it's
their
pretty
flags
crazy when you notice. Why is it whenever you see these rallies that for supposed freedom, that you said that there's Nazi shit going on?
Right.
It's absolutely atrocious. I don't care what someone's politics are, but if I think the side you stand on is not the side where somebody with a T-shirt that says 6 million weren't enough.
Oh my, that is so offensive.
You know what else I wanted to address? You were talking about whether Jewish is a race or religion.
Yes,
and
please.
It's really, it's real. I can't tell you. I know the answer because I sit there and listen. Because I always thought that we were people said it's an ethno-religion. Well, I say it's like an ethno-race because there's 12 tribes. So you can be Jewish and be any color in the world, but we are a racial group because, listen, if you want to go back to this, if we all want to take a deep breath and go with reality, we all stemmed from Africa, and people who can't believe that, I can't help them. So if my skin is white, it's because it's over history and generations lost its melanin, and that's it. Because all you need is some basic, it's some basic science. And I mean, the whole Jesus thing. Sorry, guys, Jesus is black. Look where he was born. Those people there, they're brown. There is no white human in the Bible.
I really don't believe in the race of black. Like I've stated before, Africa, I try to educate myself on Africans because I've met white people here in Connecticut that go to Africa and they know more about Mozambique than I do. I know some white people that know more about Africa and have gone to Africa more than black people. So when I learn about Africa and the 54 countries, people think that Africa, I'm just talking about Southern Africa, is just one commingled country. It's not. Ghana is a country. Mozambique is a country. Angola is a country. These are countries with different people just because they're brown.
When I did my student teaching, I had this group of kids and they kept referring to Africa as a country. And so I had to do like a 6-week project. And I was like, okay, we're gonna get these. We're gonna have at least 25 kids go out into the world and realize that Africa is a continent. And I divided them up and I made them, each study the country and then teach each other the similarities and the differences. And I got to tell you, it got me quite an education. And like, it's crazy. And someone just wrote in the comments, how does Israel treat Ethiopian Jewish people? Okay, I can't answer that 100%. I do know that there are issues with Ethiopian Jewish people in Israel. 100%, I'm not going to deny that. But I don't live in Israel. I don't speak for Israel. I am an American. If you'd like to know how I treat Black people in America, I treat them with dignity and respect. I think Black women are queens. And you know what? I think I do. People bitch about affirmative action, but let's remember something, okay? When you are a white kid from a upper middle class area, and you've been gone to a school where your taxpayer dollars, don't forget, it's property tax that does most supporting of schools, okay? So you've had that, you've had tutors for your SATs, and this, that, and the other thing. Well, that's affirmative action for them. So helping to level a playing field is a fantastic thing. And I don't know anybody who's ever been given a job they didn't deserve because the color of their skin. They might have been chosen because they are brown or Black, because you do need representation and it makes it better for everybody. So like, listen, my white 22-year-old son, while getting a job, I warned him, it is not your turn, dude. The last 1,000 years have been your turn. you are going to lose jobs to an equally qualified black or man or black woman. It's going to happen, and it's fair. It's finally fair. When you got people starting in the 50-yard line and others starting 50 yards back.
Oh my God. Did somebody take her off? Please come back. I was about to, I swear to God. Please come back. I didn't even get her name. Why does TikTok do that? They kick off my guest. She was amazing. I almost felt like I was in her class. I was taking notes. And let me tell you something. She has a wonderful motherly, what is that called? Me One Island. You know, the kind. I'm bringing her back. Voice of Reason. She's the queen of the Voice of Reason.
Yeah, I am a mom.
Yeah, I can tell because my mom is not that great. My mom would have been like acting some other type of way. But I just feel like you're an educator. I think you are an amazing human being. And what I want to do right now is give you a moment to talk to 99 people. And if TikTok will let me share this, instead of freaking making my videos saying that we're violating community guidelines, by simply sharing information, which needs to stop. Then we might be able to make a change. What can you say? I'm going to say this. This is African American month. It's Black History Month, but I'm okay being African American and sharing our oppression with other races and their oppression. So can you please enlighten any African Americans here how we could be of help to the Jewish community?
I think that you need to know, first of all, I think the most important thing to understand is that those people, the Hasids with the black hats who live this very insulated life, they represent the tiniest part of Judaism. Most Jewish people, you know, I had somebody say, I've never met a Jewish person. And I looked at him, I go, excuse me, you're talking to one. Like, you don't look like them. I'm like, you know, you're talking about a very secluded, insulated, they live in these little teeny communities.
I've seen it. It's here in Connecticut.
Okay. By the way, they would take you into their home before they would take me because they think I'm an embarrassment to their religion because I'm not like them, right?
Oh.
So they represent this teeny part of Jewish people. Most Jewish people are full. They're like Christians. They're just fully assimilated human beings who are not living like, you know, equating Jews, the Hasids to Jewish people is like equating those polygamists to all Mormons or all Christians. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that, but it gets conflated for some reason, and I'm not really sure why. But you know, I've heard so many people on this app. I feel like they really, and they're not bad. They're unaware. They're thoroughly unaware, you know. And then I get a lot of these people that get angry and they say the real Jews are black Jews. I am not denying black Jews. I am not denying that they were probably the first Jews because black people were the first Homo sapiens. So of course.
It makes sense to me. But what I don't want is African Americans. We have to be very careful with supremacy within the race. And I, as an African American and biracial, my father is mixed. I'm going to tell you.
Do you like African American or do you like black? Because I have here comes the dumb statement. I have a lot of black friends, but I actually do. And they all call each other black. I don't ever hear them refer to each other as African American. I feel like it's like a less than statement. Like when people say that, it's like they put it there to somehow disqualify the pureness of American. Like, oh, Asian American. Nobody ever calls me Russian American, and that's where my you know, ancestry comes from. So like I'm not going to deny somebody if they want to be called African American.
Right.
But to me, I feel like it's like someone's been tricked by using that.
Right. And I actually want to do like a gene test because I know that I'm of African descent, and I love that. I've been listening to tribal music when I work out, so that I can kind of like inherit that spiritual strength that my ancestors have that created me. I don't think a lot of people understand, but the reason why I'm here
is because over time, my family was fighters and survived it. But what I want to say is, I'm just not for race superiority at all. I'm not
At
for
all.
anybody to say that we're better than you because of our indigenousness. We're better than you because of our richness. We're better than you. We're higher than. I don't think that there's any human that's higher than the other. We are all one race. We are the human race, but our identities matter and shouldn't be undermined.
Right, but why do we say this thing about
Celebrate.
race? Like, but like we don't separate other animals into different races. A pig is a pig. If it's a big pig, this pig, a dog's a dog. Why humans do we say this race thing? I think that we should acknowledge people's experiences and make what their skin color brings to their experience, but for the love of goddamn God, we all bleed red, and we need to just love each other.
But go ahead, Chris. Thank you so much. Oh my God.
You got it. I gotta go get
Let me
my
make
day
sure I follow
started.
you. I
Yeah.
hope that you have
follow you.
content because if you don't agree with what some of the things that she said, most of the things that she said to me was freaking factual. And anyways, go ahead, Chris.
So I agree with a lot of the things she said, but I also disagree with some. I will start by the last point she made about race, and just being co-African American. I personally think that that's obviously the ideal to eliminate race. I think at this point in time, it would be impossible to do that. Therefore, I don't think not seeing color would be beneficial. I think we can see color and treat each other as equal. That would be the most achievable thing and goal. And then another thing she said about Jews being a race. And before I say anything about that, I just think that people don't know what anti-Semitic means because they just claim everything is anti-Semitic. But anti-Semitic is when you have prejudice, hostility, or hate towards Jews.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So just saying a comment about it not being about race is not really being anti-Semitic because you're not showing hatred towards Jews. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought that was very harsh that society pretty much canceled Whoopi or suspended her, if you will, because of what she said. This was an opportunity to bring forth awareness and educate pertaining to the Jewish community, to completely shun Whoopi out of society. I think that was inappropriate, and then to labor an anti-Semite. Can I say anti-Semite? Because I believe anti-Semitic comes from like Jewish people are Semites. Huh?
Right. So when it Semites, right? I think I'm not entirely sure when it comes to that.
Well, Semitic is Semites, I believe, is a name for Jewish people. So if you're anti,
right. So along with those and being about the race, so like she said, she actually said that there was black Jews, there was, and if we base what race is on the social construct that it was made by white people, then it would not be considered race. I think it would be considered ethnicity. It's a group of people who shares a common beliefs. So it essentially it was not about it. I mean, but then again, you can also argue that it was because they were fighting for the Aryan race. Right. So, but I think as a whole, they were not discriminated because they were black or they were white or they were this. They were discriminated because of their religious beliefs and their culture that they shared. Then she did say something very valid about it being fair that sometimes they're giving jobs to people that are qualified just because they're black as well. I think that's a valid point that she made because at the end of the day, we didn't have a head start. In America at least. We were stopped from growing for many years.
Yeah,
I think that was a valid thing that she said when it comes to that.
The only thing with Whoopi Goldberg, I feel that she kind of messed up on is the mere fact that when you say sorry, you don't say but. And it was an opportunity for her to use her platform and her $70 million. Okay.
Right.
Whoopi is not hurting. She's a multi-millionaire. Okay. I think it was an opportunity for her to maybe just take a seat and come back with a bang and allow for maybe a whole segment to be about the Jewish community and things that she went through. She had an opportunity to be a leader for the Jewish people, because clearly some of them do feel that she missed a few points when she said that Holocaust was about race. And it was very much about race. If you weren't Aryan of race, if you didn't have blue eyes and blonde hair, you were killed.
Right, and
You
that's
know,
and that's what I'm saying.
I think Whoopi, I keep calling her Oprah. I think Whoopi Goldberg is thinking, and she's old too, and she just needs to be more educated. I think she sees white people giving oppression to white people, but that's the same thing that happened with the Irish indentured servants. So I think, like, just imagine somebody talking about the Irish indentured servants and somebody saying, well, that wasn't about race. That was about classism. That was about job opportunities. Now, does that sound off-putting? Because that's basically what she was saying. A lot of Jewish people had a lot of money. I don't know if you guys remember Schindler's List, but they were stealing the gold and stuff from Jewish people. They're stealing their things.
Yeah. And I mean, you bring up a good point. Comparing to the other cultures that were enslaved as well. But when it comes to that, I think the problem is that we shouldn't be putting anybody down, and undermining their experiences and their oppression.
Yeah.
However, I don't think we can equate them either. When it comes down to when a lot of white people says, well, my people was enslaved too, I was Irish, or I was this and I was that, like, you cannot equate certain things. You should undermine them. You should not say, well, your pain is less than mine, but they were not equal. We're not in equal grounds to when it comes to what happened afterwards, to when it comes to how we oppress nowadays, when it comes to reparations. Did the Jews get reparations? Because I know I have a lot of German friends that explain to me what they did after the Holocaust. You know what I mean? So they're not equal. We're not on equal grounds, but their experiences should be valued just as much as ours. But they shouldn't be combined. They shouldn't.
Until we get it right, though, I'm going to try to do this with my platform. And like I said, if you're not African American or well educated enough, like the other lady was, who's a teacher, to understand, all aspects of our history, historically, and as well as currently, like I said, slavery only ended 157 years ago. Jim Crow law for over 100 years. There was an apartheid in this country. Okay, and it really gets really deeper than just buses and freaking wanting to eat in restaurants. We were completely segregated in society. We were not to commingle, not to marry, not to share even educational books, not to go to the same school. They didn't want whites and blacks together at all in the same proximity.
I mean, you're completely right. It comes down to education. I mean, it's Black History Month, and I think a lot of issues of identity and problems that happen nowadays with the African American society is that a lot of us are not educated enough in our own culture and in our own history, and that's due to the fact that we weren't taught that, and a lot of people doesn't seek that. And I think also a lot of African Americans have the identity crisis because of how discriminated against you are. So that's why I see a lot of Black people that said, no, I'm not Black, I'm this, or I'm light skinned, or you know what I'm saying? They separate themselves from that because of the shame. But I think it will make us stronger if we know what we are, if we know where we come from.
But as an African American woman, I want to say that most of us are not 100% African. So the only reason why I try to bring up our race is because we're not pure here in America. I mean, you have to understand that we were raped here when we got here for, I believe, centuries. Okay. Also, there was so much history where if a slave master had a baby by an African American slave, they would take that child and bring them to another plantation. I believe that's where the in-house slave came from, to be honest.
I mean, for sure.
And there were some African slaves that were blended into society called white passing, where they would deny their African Americanness.
Right, and then again, like you said, like, we're not pure. Like, at least not a lot of us are pure. Like, like my mom is 100% African descendant, and then my dad was mixed. So yeah, we're not pure, and a lot of white people is not pure either, because I know at some point in time.
Yeah, so they're basically yelling at people. They're being racist towards people that have been blending with their people for centuries.
But we also need to understand that
This isn't
the
Africa. This is freaking America. This is the United States of America.
right, and it's just a mix of everything. Then again, like I think the part of why we consider ourselves, you know, African American or African Hispanic or whatever, is because that's what depicts us in society. That's what we're seen from in society. You get what I mean? So, like,
Yeah.
I could be in American terms like 80% white and 20% black, but if I'm of dark skin, I'm gonna
Then
be
you're 100%
African American.
African.
Exactly.
Just like
You know what
Obama.
I'm saying?
Obama's mom is white.
Exactly.
Like his grandmother is white. But America keeps saying we voted for the first African American man. Come on, man. Where? Half of him. Now, if you want to say you voted for the first African American first lady, touche. But Obama is half white.
Yeah, exactly.
I voted for Obama because he was black.
Oh my goodness. Oh, God. Well, listen.
I did. I was like, I really didn't do much voting.
Just trying to get the first guy in there, huh?
Hey, let's have the first black.
Well, Republicans aren't going to like that comment. I can tell you that right now. That's what they think.
Yeah, but guess what, Andrea? I'm a Republican.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, listen,
now,
they did.
I'm a different. I'm a different. I vote on abortion. I can't.
Yeah, I remember why you're against that.
I'm against abortion, but if I can vote in the middle, I would.
Right. I think a lot of people having issues with Obama being in office, or black people saying, "Oh, he didn't do this and he didn't do that." Like you said earlier, like why does all this pressure have to fall into one man, and how much?
Yeah.
Really,
okay,
a president
Obama,
do?
fix what we've freaking done for centuries.
Right.
It was up to Obama to fix it. He was too
you gotta
busy
think
trying
about-
to keep us out of war.
Right, and you got to
He
think
was
about
too
all
busy
the
trying to
people
fix what happened with the Bush administration.
all the people that's in Congress and the Senate, like majority are white anyway. So all the bills have to be, you know, like the president just has so much control over things that actually happen. People overestimate what the president can actually do. Same thing with Trump. They overestimate what he can do. Same thing with Biden. They overestimate what he can do. Like, you know, like a lot of these policies have to go through, you know, a lot of people to actually get passed. You get what I'm saying?
Right. So let's do this for a minute. Since you guys want to bring forth awareness towards the Holocaust, which I completely support. I can't even watch anything regarding those times, Auschwitz. And even saying it makes me just want to just drop down to my knees. I have very much empathy what happened to the Jewish people during the Holocaust. I mean, the fact that humanity, you know how many people supported freaking Hitler? Okay, this is kind of freaking amazing to me. How many soldiers could have just freaking stopped and put their gun down? Why were so many people for this Aryan race? And freaking Hitler wasn't even Aryan, just to tell you the truth. He wasn't even Aryan.
He was from Jew descendant, and then again, it just comes down to tyranny. It comes down to brainwashing people. You know,
so let's give them. Let's share our month. I don't mind sharing our month with the Holocaust, okay, and bringing forth awareness to the 2% of Jewish people in this community that are dealing with anti-Semitic rhetoric and propaganda being pushed by the alt-rights who are now on the rise. I don't mind sharing our month, but you don't have to make us look like we are racist or hopping on the bandwagon of anti-Semitic movements. African Americans, I will say this right now, we love the Jewish community. I don't see African Americans being able to look at people from the Holocaust or not have empathy. That is not of our character. Okay, but 4 million African Americans were enslaved in this country.
People, though. So do white people, Andrea. So do white people. My family, me, there's a lot of white people out there that are different. I guess just on every race, there's someone that'll spoil it for the other.
I mean, let me just say this though. I hear you though, but let me just say this: when racist people come here, and I got to get off because I have to go on the date. I'm with my day. I have to work. But what I want to see is when people come here and tell me that African Americans don't get to freaking complain about slavery. All right, because there were some African Americans, and I'm talking like 10 people or something like that we counted, were able to be slaves masters, even though they weren't even considered citizens in the United States of America to 1877, and then the Black Code came into play. How can you tell me this? Tell me this if you're white. How can you sit there and talk about Black people enslaving Black people when white people have been oppressing poor whites in this country for even longer, for even before they came to America? You're talking about even
It's not
over there in
everyone.
Britain. How
It's not
can
everyone though.
the biggest poverty, the race that is dealing with the most poverty in this country is white people. Okay, so how can for centuries, okay, white people allow their elites to completely take over their society as far as the
we're a different generation. We're a different generation. We don't do that. My kids don't do that.
Let's talk about the let's talk about the minimum wage. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the minimum wage.
Okay, it's $2.20 here in Texas.
The minimum wage is the most freaking horrible thing you could ever do to an American that works hard every single day. You're gonna give us a cap on our freaking work ethic, or a cap on us?
Well,
so who's doing that?
My 16-year-old granddaughter works at Taco Bell and makes $10 an hour.
I can tell you right. I can tell you that when
bus for $10
that to me is work. That to me is enslavement. $10 an hour. I can't even buy a full meal at McDonald's for $10.
No,
when
she's
you're
16.
saying when you're saying that poor white Americans are why do they support these things? It comes down to even back in the day, they made them believe that we were the enemy. They made them believe that we were going against them. And the same thing happens now when poor white Americans supported Trump, believing that he was for them. I believe personally, my personal opinion, that he's only for rich white men, but he made them believe that he was for them and that we were gonna, we were attacking him. So it was like a mind manipulation. It was manipulation pretty much. And the same thing happened with the Holocaust. Hitler made all these white people believe that the Jews, were inferior, that the Jews were going to take over the world. All these things didn't happen in today's society, where they make the white poor man has so much more similarities with the discrimination that Black people have than they relate to white rich people. But they don't see it that way.
Oh my God! Believe me, I don't. My son was killed by police. I'm a different kind of Republican. I'll tell you right now. I believe in it in a lot of different things. And you don't just you can't say white people are racist. I'm not racist. I'm not.
Some
racist.
are, sis. I know you're not. You're not. Some are.
Some are, and the
just
make a big difference.
Some are not. Yeah. I wouldn't hang around racist. Right. There was a guy we met out at the lake. And I have a picture of my grandkids, a big thing. I have a grandson that's half black, half black, Fijian, and white. And he said, it's an old guy, and this is a racist guy, and this is what I did. He said, so who are those? I said, my grandchild. And he pointed to my black grandchild and said, how did that happen? And of course, I'm like, yeah, my daughter fucked a black guy. What? And he's all, man, that's a shame. And I said, I don't know. He just moved in. And I told my husband, don't ever come over here. Don't talk to this asshole again. I don't want to be associated with him. So
yeah, but how do you think that made your grandson feel?
Right.
He wasn't there, but
good.
If it made me feel like that, he's 16, my grandson. I mean, I'm in North Texas, and it. I don't see that here.
I guess I gotta see a point for what you said, Andrea, when it comes down to white saviors. I do want African American and Black people to understand. I want African Americans to understand that we would have not been liberated if it wasn't for the good white people.
Yeah, absolutely. Abolitionists, the Underground Railroad.
Right.
Gordon Granger, who had to announce to Black people that we were free because we didn't even know how to read. And they freaking didn't even tell us that we were free. They just kept business as usual.
Yeah.
Kind of amazing to me. Thank you for Gordon Granger and Joe Biden gave us the Jubilee as a national holiday, and I'm very grateful for that. If you are ungrateful for that, you just really need to do more research. Our ancestors are right now celebrating in heaven. Because it didn't just go to waste, and we were being heard. But like I said, you don't got to step on Black oppression to push forward awarenesses towards other oppressions in regards to other races. Okay, we don't mind sharing the platform. If we say that our life matter, we're not saying that your life doesn't, but we're saying if our life doesn't matter, then all lives don't, is what we're saying. So stop misconstruing our movements, stop derailing our progression, and become an anti-racist and an ally of humanity instead of pushing forward your own agendas.
Pat, I agree 100%. I think we need to give credit to the allies. You know, I think we definitely need to give credit because we need them. And I think if all minorities, Hispanics, Jews, African Americans, Africans from other countries, we all came together, it will make a big difference, And I think a lot of people
need to come
undermine.
together, and I think right now we have more in common with the MAGA hats than we realize, because before we're Black, before we're white, we're freaking Americans in this country. Okay, and we like our freedom. African Americans, we love our freedom, and so do white people. So we just need to stop being divided and stop giving these moments so much attention. Okay, I know I'm a victim of it too, but we need to stop allowing for society in the media, which is pretty much premeditated propaganda. Okay, push forward a lie that says like Black people basically or Whoopi Goldberg is anti-Semitic. Black people are not anti-Semitic. That is not in our culture. It's not in our blood. We were oppressed too, and we would never derail. We would never treat our neighbor the way that we want to be treated. And I think we can all agree that the Jewish people, to me, I used to work for a Jewish family. I felt like I was closer to God. These are the chosen people of Yeshua. I mean, let's not negate the fact that not only did the Holocaust happen to the Jews, but so did a time during the Egyptian times. They were enslaved during that time. During the Holocaust, they were exterminated and they were almost wiped out. But during the Egyptian times, they were enslaved. And Moses came into play, if you want to believe him or not, whatnot. In the Bible, it says that he said, let my people go. And those people were Jewish.
It is let's
not complete their oppression, okay? But they should not take this as an opportunity to derail our freaking month and to make things up. Whoopi Goldberg is not anti-Semitic. Come on.
They're just trying to change the rhetoric. They're trying to control the narrative. It just comes down to, like you said, coming together, not undermining anybody's oppression. And I feel like once, like for example, we see all these movies or we read in our history and we learn what happened to us. Once you understand that pain, you would be inhumane not to acknowledge somebody else's pain.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right. We need to tell Oprah. I think she missed a few things. A few things. Like I said, like the BLM, they missed a few notches. Like I wish I was a representator of some of these African American movements and people. I wish I did have my own platform where more than 100 people were here, that I could reach a broader audience. Which I hope I can share this on YouTube and say, if Oprah was wrong about anything, she should have never backtracked her apology. That's so lame, by the way.
Right.
Don't sit there and say sorry, then say, but I really meant everything I said. That really isn't okay. I think this was a time for her to just read and do what I'm doing, allowing Jewish people to come in for, not that racist lady from earlier that's trying to use whataboutisms to fit.
Right.
You already know what I'm talking about. I blocked her. Okay, not those type of people, but to give them a point. Listen, we can talk about things that are going on the Gaza Strip. We could talk about things that are going on in Israel, but let's talk about what's going on here in the United States of America. And I think we can all say that we want to be united, not divided. Do you mind? And we should be able to say our opinions and viewpoints without being persecuted, without being crucified and shunned out of society and suspended and canceled.
I agree with you. Anyway, I gotta get going here to work.
Yeah, me too. I'm
nice talking to you.
Spread love. Point blank. Period.
Facts.